My name is Gavin, born in Alberta, Canada, raised in Punjab, India, and then Toronto adopted me in 2007. You can imagine the identity crisis, to the point I had suicidal thoughts back in 2018. And the key ingredients to my transformation was being authentic, trusting, connecting, and eventually traveling. My traveling journey started earlier this year with Tulum, Mexico. And I'm here to share my journey from a monologue to a dialogue. All right. Mr. Eric, first of all, what is your full name?
My full name. So I have two last names. Usually, like in other countries, people have only one last name, right? They take their father's last name. In Mexico, you take both. So I have my father's name is Iserman, and my mother's name is Guerra.
Iserman and Guerra.
Yeah, which means war. And Iserman, I mean, if you change the R for an N, it would be man of iron, war. That would be the direct translation of my last names.
Dude, I wasn't expecting that to be that profound of an answer. Wow, that's amazing, brother.
Yeah.
Wow, and then so the beautiful part is also like taking your mom and dad's name. I think that's pretty awesome. It's unheard of. I never heard it. So thank you for sharing that.
Lots of people don't know it.
Yeah.
I know what countries do it, but Mexico is one of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. So we met each other on my day one when I landed in Tulum, and we were at this house party, and I think I told you. You asked me like, "Oh, how long are you here for?" And I said something along the lines, "Oh, I'm only here for 10 days." And then what did you say at that time? Do you remember?
I think I say something along the lines, "No, you're gonna stay here longer," or something like that, right? Like that's just the beginning.
That's just the beginning.
That's just the beginning. 10 days is just the beginning.
You were just so convinced that this is not going to be 10 days.
Yeah.
And now I have completed 3 months. And
3 months.
3 months. And then we're having this interview here.
Yeah.
So nothing was expected. But I'm glad that I'm here interviewing you. And why we are here today, because I want to dive into ecstatic dancing. So you are someone who curates, facilitates, and also DJ at these kind of gatherings. So tell me more about your role, but before that, tell us, what is ecstatic dancing?
Yeah, ecstatic dance is about self-expression. It's really being present and feeling your body and seeing how powerful this tool is. Then when we utilize it in a different way, we can change our state of mind and we can shift our vibration, the way we see the world, so to say. That's what for me, what ecstatic dance did for me. It really shifted the way I saw the world and the way I interacted with it, right? And it's also about having fun, you know? People, it's a spiritual practice as anything else in the world. Like this interview is a spiritual practice, like we're learning about ourselves just by sitting here together and sharing thoughts and ideas and asking thoughtful questions. That's spiritual. And dance can also be very spiritual. So in my experience, when you do something consciously with intention, then it can bring you to amazing places. And what I think it's different to other practices, that can be very rigid. Where like and dance is just flow. It's just about feeling, right? So yoga, like you need to like have a certain pose, or even meditation, you need to follow your breath, like come back to your breath. It can be fun too as well, but like with ecstatic dance, it's just about having fun. And in the process of having fun, you learn things about yourself and reality itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And amazingly put, like what it means. And then I would just want to get an idea of like how does it look like in a room when this ecstatic gathering happens. What happens? What are the rules of ecstatic dancing?
So there are not many rules, but we like to have people create this container, like everyone is co-creating the space. So there is not truly a leader, right? It's like everyone is a leader. So they bring in certain energy, and whatever they put into the experience, that's what they get out of it, right? And the only thing that we encourage people not to do is to talk with each other, because like talking can be distracting. So we want people to stay focused, like feel their body, like get over their fears, their judgments, their projections by just moving their body. That's one of like the main rules.
Right.
Yeah.
And then for my experience, it was really hard for me to push after 15 minutes. Because, you know, like when you're dancing, usually you dance for 15, 20 minutes, but then you're in this environment for a good 2 hours minimum.
Yeah.
So it really pushes you to flow, and you're not talking to anyone, as you said, you're not distracted. So you're really working with your body and really feeling everything, every sensation in your body, and flowing with music. So that's beautiful. And then when did this passion started for you? Like when did you?
It was a very organic process. I didn't ask for it. There is medicine here in the Yucatan Peninsula that was rediscovered in 2012. It's been said that Mayans used it, right? Like we don't really know what happened, but it comes from a tree, and the tree is called Tepescohuite, and the active compound of that substance is DMT. So I did it with one of like the very few shamans that are around, at least like the ones that I've heard of, just two. And I came out of the experience, and the shaman said to me, "You should start ecstatic dance." And I'm like, "Okay, well, maybe. Let's see what happens." And then 2 weeks after, Holistica, this holistic center around here, asked me, "Hey, do you want to do ecstatic dance?" And that's how it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was that medicine kind of initiated, and the spiritual leader, aka shaman, kind of put that in your world, and you kind of just dived in, and that kind of opportunity just came up.
I think he was in tune with my experience, and one of my big realizations is that life is there to have fun with, you know. So, and I was doing work that didn't feel effortless, and very long hours, and pushing myself very hard. And then like during this experience I realized like, well, like that's not what life is about. Life is not there for you to work your ass off and like die from it, right? Life is there to, yes, be consistent, have goals, be productive, but most importantly have fun with the process. If you're not having fun with the process, then stop it.
You're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, no, everything's perfect at the end, right? Like you learn from that, but like the best way, the way things flow and are the most successful for yourself, it doesn't matter what other people think, is when you're having fun with it. It's not about getting somewhere, it's about having fun with the things that you're doing. And I wasn't doing that. So I got that insight during this journey, and the shaman probably saw it in me, and that's what he said it. Like, I don't know how
else
these things work, but like, but it was very clear at the moment, you know, like, yeah.
And I believe you. It's like it's very possible to have that experience, and then someone just guiding you through that process. So definitely. And then thank you for correcting me that there's nothing wrong with anything. Like, you know, even if you're doing something which you're not having fun, but it's just the observation part of it. Like, okay, observing that, you know, I'm not having fun, and is this really making me feel alive or not?
Yeah.
You know, because with me, like I have a day job, but what makes me feel alive is doing this.
Yeah.
You know, so beautiful. I love that. And then what I like about your ecstatic gathering is that you do something which is, correct me if I'm wrong, that you customize it in a way that you said that you're not allowed to talk to anyone. But at the end of the event, or even in the beginning, you do have these, you pair people together, and then you let them have very conscious and present conversations with each other. It personally changed my perspective, because one of the gatherings I came, before I went into the gathering, my mind was going all over the place, saying, I'm done with Tulum, I need to get back to Toronto. I'm like, I'm done. Like, what is this? Like now, another cenote, another party. But as I started doing that exercise of just talking to someone, just communication, I got outside of my head, and then it was followed by ecstatic gathering, ecstatic dance. Dude, I was dancing for 2-3 hours, and usually when I dance, I drink a lot. Because traditionally that's what it is. Like you just take shots and then you dance.
Yeah.
But here, all natural, man. And
What do you drink?
what do I drink?
Why do I drink why do you drink when you go to like social dance
Right.
events?
Just to socialize. I feel
Socialize.
like, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I think the idea
To connect.
To connect.
Yeah.
To connect.
So that's why we do it, exactly because of that reason. We connect first, authentically. And that's why people like go to these events, like anywhere, right? Like they deep down, even if you're like, oh, like don't talk to me, like VIP area, whatever, right? Deep down, they want to connect with others, right? And that's why we're just like, all right, we know the truth, right? We know like humans are social animals, so let's just have a good time together and like let's learn from each other and connect with each other in a more vulnerable way, right? And vulnerability like opens us up, and when you let your guard down, then people see what's behind the facade, and what's behind the facade is just beauty, right?
Yeah.
So show your beauty and let other people show you their beauty, That's why we do it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like the inner beauty existed, but I was getting mad compliments on the way I was looking. They were saying, like,
yeah?
oh, you got a king vibe going. And like, but it did had an impact by just having that conversation with someone rather than just being in my head. And socializing with someone whom I don't even know. But in 2 minutes of talking to them, I kind of know their life story.
Yeah.
It's not like surface conversation. So amazing the kind of like contrast I'm able to see, like where I come from, like a city life, to a place where like this community exists, and these kind of events and conversations exist. So it's very powerful. So is this something that you do in your gatherings, or this is something is like a norm in the ecstatic gathering?
No, I think this is something that I've implemented in the things that I do. I've noticed that, especially if you're new to these environments, it might seem off-putting. So you feel like you're an intruder into like a weird community. Like you know it best, like you came to Tulum from a city. It's like you come to these places where everyone is like shaking, like doing crazy stuff, and you're like, what the heck am I doing here? So what I want to do is like create a safe environment. Like show people that everyone is there to connect, to have fun together, to realize things about themselves. And then once like you see that, then it's much easier for you to like be like, oh, I can also like be weird and like do crazy stuff. Like there's nothing holding me back except my mind. That's it.
Yeah, I was literally dancing at your gatherings like how I would dance in my washroom in front of the mirror. Like no one's watching.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful in that sense. So that's my new love, to be honest.
Nice.
So that's why I wanted this to dive in deeper. But I know you mentioned about like how it all started for you. Did you had a mentor or role model in this field for you to kind of show the way?
I get inspired by many people. So also I work at a place called Nomade at the beach, and they have a lot of holistic events. So I'm there every week, not just sharing the things that I do, but also participating in other events and workshops and talks, right? So I take the things that resonate with me the most and implement it into my work, and I put my own little sauce on top of it, right? So that's my process, It's like being inspired by others and taking it in, mixing in with my own experience and the things that I desire for myself and the world, and put it out there and see if it resonates. If it doesn't, then I iterate and like keep working on it until like people are like, oh yeah, I can see what this is, and I can see why these little things at the beginning, and why these other things in between, you know. So it's just an exploration. It's just a process of like iteration and like seeing what works. Because like something in your mind might seem amazing, but you don't know until you actually do it. That's why in any field, I think people should just experiment and see what happens. Exactly what you're doing with your videos. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Like, do you know where this is going to take you?
No.
You're just doing it, which is amazing. And, and I think that's the right approach. And then if it doesn't work, then you learn from it, and that's it.
It just feels right intuitively.
Yeah.
Feels right. I don't know where it's going, but intuitively it feels right. And from what I just heard, what you just said, this is a constant work. It's not that you got inspired one time you started ecstatic dancing, that's it. You're constantly putting yourself out there so that you can constantly get inspired, constantly take upon those inspirations and then add your sauce and seasoning to it and make it your own. So that's beautiful. I resonate with that a lot. I wanted to ask you, did you ever experience a failure in your life, and how did you turn it around, or what did you learn from it?
Failure. Probably lots of failures, but I've never seen them as failures, right?
It's a trick question. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me in my life, nothing has gone wrong. You know, I've done the best I could, you know, and that's all we can do. Like, just do the best we can. Because I don't want to be carrying something like, oh, I fucked it up, like, oh, shit. You know, it's like, yeah, I mean, everyone fucks up, like, just move on, you know, like, learn from it, done, you know? Like, I've done shitty things in my life that I'm not super proud of, but at the same time, they were my blessings as well, you know? Like, they showed me who I am. Like, what do I need to work on? That's it.
Beautiful. I think the answer to this question, this was the perfect answer. Because it is a trick question, because failure is not actually a failure. As you said, it can be a learning experience. And you nailed it, like in terms of like your attitude towards the failure. Doing the best you can and keep moving. That's awesome. And on that note, if you want to give an advice to the 16-year-old you, what would that be?
Don't doubt yourself. Yeah. Whenever you feel something is right, go for it. Yeah.
Follow your intuition.
Probably you can say follow your intuition, but I think it goes beyond that. Like, know your truth, right? Because it's always there. So you know what you're supposed to do, so just follow the truth. Like, it's not always easy. Just be honest with yourself, right? Why are you actually doing things? Is it for X reason or Y reason? Like, ask yourself, is this for myself or is it for others? Like, be it, like, I think that's a training that you need to start very early on. Like, like, talk to yourself, like, no, it's not, it's more like, see your bullshit, right? Accept it, let it go, and do better.
We know this 16 years after of our lives. And it's so hard to realize all those. I'm realizing that it's so hard to realize all those things at the age of 16, because in school we're not taught these things, you know. And then now we have this wisdom, but this is making me realize that we need to start from the beginning. You know, like, like all the things you mentioned. Like, I was just thinking, like, it will be the 16-year-old me can't even talk like this, you know. But what can we do to create that at that age? Now imagine if you're feeling that at 16, freaking by 32 we'll be like taking over. Yeah,
it's a matter of practice. It's not something that you do one day and then, oh, okay, I did it.
Right.
It's like constant practice, constant work. Being honest with yourself.
Yeah, being authentic. All those things are coming up for me here. Now I'm so honest that yeah, it's sexy.
Mm.
Like, you know, like it's like even when I talk to women as well, and then there's interest, they appreciate it.
Mm.
It's because it's unique you.
Yeah, because at the end, everyone looks through everyone's shit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And everyone is pretending that they don't, right? So what are we doing here? Like everyone knows, so just like admit it to
Just
yourself
admit
and move on.
it. Yeah, who are you
Like,
trying to be?
yeah.
You know, just be yourself. Because the other person can sense your bullshit. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. And brother, lastly, what are like 3 calls to action that whoever is watching us right now, that you want to give to them? Like 3 calls to action or 3 pieces of advice. Short and simple.
So first of all, notice what excites you. And if nothing excites you, then go find it. Because like the universe is infinite. Once you find it, take action and let life unfold.
Wow, cool. I got a lot of calls to action there, in that one sentence. Beautifully said. And then if nothing excites you, do you recommend doing the tepos? Yes. What was the medicine?
I recommend just stop doing the things that don't excite you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you don't have to do drugs. You don't
Yeah.
even have to do yoga.
Yeah.
You don't have to like go do ice bath. Those things are helpful because they take you out of your like mind, like your own perspective of how you interpret the world. They're helpful, but they're not necessary, right? For those that do it, like they get a sense of why I'm saying this. You probably know, but I think just stop doing things that don't resonate with you. And we do need like people that do things that are annoying, but like just let other people do it. You don't have to do it if it doesn't excite you or if it's annoying to you.
Yeah.
But also like be like, even if you have something that you're working towards that really excites you, you're also always going to encounter annoying things. That's not what I'm saying, right? Like what I'm saying is like overall the feeling of the things that you're pursuing should be of excitement, of joy, of love, of gratitude.
Yes. Right. I got that.
Yeah.
I got that. Yeah. And another thing I know what excites you is Indian food. And tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what do you like about Indian food?
I like the simplicity of it, and it's I mean, it's simple but complex, right? It's like so many spices, right?
But
But
how
at
do
the
you
end, it's like
get that
so
taste?
simply, like so simple the way they serve it, right? And it's just delicious. Like I could eat that every day. I hope like more restaurants open up here in Tulum, and
Yeah, even that
see
one
what happens.
restaurant is pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say, like, you know, for Indian food getting in Tulum,
oh yeah,
not bad. Not bad. That's awesome, brother. And lastly, if someone wants to find you online, and what would that be? What platform it is, and then what's the name of your handle, if you want to share that?
yeah. So people can find me on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's what I use the most. Facebook. I don't know who uses that anymore.
Or Facebook or Metaverse, is that
Or
the new
Metaverse.
thing? I don't know. Like I
Who's
just
using
have it
Metaverse?
just because I have all my old pictures on Facebook.
Yeah. So,
I just have it just to store that.
Yeah.
But I can also save it on laptop too. Anyways, yeah, Instagram.
Instagram. So my Instagram name is @iserguy, EISER guy. And the name of the project, the Ecstatic Gathering, is ecstatic_gathering.
That's perfect. And
Yeah.
then that's where you have updates of like when the next event is. And I like it that what you're doing now is that you're bringing in more underground DJs to come and perform. Tell us a little bit more about that too.
Yeah, so last time I worked with a really cool and talented guy, Jamanjo, that I met in Guatemala. I just loved his music. You were
Awesome.
there. It was really
awesome,
cool.
Man. He was like playing so many instruments at one time.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And then this time I'm gonna work with another guy. Like, he's from Mexico. He's just chilling, you know. Like, he's not really putting himself out there. Like, because he has a good life from what I've heard. So I just want to see. Like, I heard his music and it's amazing. Like, you have like so many talented people that are not putting their work out there, really, you know. So I want to invite him and see what happens, you know, and also like help artists and practitioners to get exposed in Tulum. You know, sometimes it's a little bit hard, you know, to get some exposure, and for me it's important that people see good things, like they're beneficiary for their growth, and also people being able to share that with the world, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful, man. You're creating a community. It's not only about you. What I'm hearing is that you want to bring in more artists so that they can get the exposure as well, and then you create this big community of just ecstaticness.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Creating new experiences and like more connections.
Yeah, bro. Beautiful, man. Well, it's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure knowing you, and thank you so much for allowing us to come to your casa and be able to do this interview and part of our short documentary. I'm really grateful, and I know this is just the beginning of our journey. But I love you, man. Much love.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. All right, let's do some ecstatic dancing now.
My traveling journey started earlier this year with Tulum, Mexico. And I'm here to share my journey from a monologue to a dialogue.